everyone. So, we're on the 4th week of our second quarter. Yan, medyo malapit na naman matapos ang quarter natin. So, we're on the 4th week. And this time, our lesson would be on relations that involves circles. Okay? So, medyo matimadim ito. Okay, we have the first theorem which involves two central angles which are congruent to each other and their intercepted arcs. Or for example, meron na ako dito pre-made na circle with its center. Okay, so let's just name the center as A. O siguro ibahin na lang natin yung marker natin. Okay. Okay, so let's name this as circle A, by which your center is at point A. Okay, let me just adjust the para mas maayos. And then, okay. Tumapingi na. For a while. Yeah. Let's just go, okay. Let's just assume that this is a straight segment. Okay? Yan. And then, sige. Mag-assume tayo. Yan. Sanay naman kayo mag-assume. Okay, so let's just name this as point B. This would be point C, and this would be point T. Okay, let's just have it as like this. Okay, now assuming, or let's just say that angle BAC is congruent to angle. So ibig sabihin ito, to angle DAC. Okay, let's just say that these two angles are congruent. So ito raw at ito ay pantay. So we can say right now, so we can conclude that their intercepted arcs are also congruent. Okay, so we can say that if two central angles are congruent, their intercepted arcs are also congruent. So we can say right now here that arc BC is also congruent to arc DC or CD, kahit magkabaliktad man yung letters. Okay? So these two would also be congruent. Or let's just say the measurement of this angle is 40 degrees. So automatically, by definition of central angle, its intercepted arc would also be congruent. Ayan. Okay? Now, since it is declared that those two angles are congruent, this is also measured 40 degrees. And this would also measures 40 degrees. So, yun yung idea dito sa theorem na to. Okay? Yeah. So, that is the first theorem. Now, the second theorem involves two chords which are congruent to each other. So, burahin na natin ito. Let's have now these two segments here. Now, let's just say that these two segments are congruent. Okay? So we have segment BS is congruent to segment ET. Now, if those two chords are congruent, we can say right now that the arc whose endpoints are those points of your chord, they would also be congruent. So we can say right now, if those two chords are congruent, the arcs that are formed by these two endpoints of their chords are also congruent. So we can say right now that arc PS is also congruent to arc ET. Yan. So it simply means that, for example, this would measure 120 degrees. Medyo hindi makatotohanan si 120. Let's just say this would be 100 degrees. So this arc also measures 100 degrees. Given that these two chords here are congruent to each other, take note, congruent. When we define congruent segments, these are two segments with the same measurement. Okay? So yan yung second theorem natin. And then, the third theorem that we have is like this. Let me just erase this. Your center, let's draw here a diameter, and then let's draw here another chord. Yan, medyo nalilito ako sa mga definitions. Okay, yan. So, let's just name this as W. For the third theorem, okay, take note ha that your C here, okay, your C here, this one, is your center. Okay, so let's name this as circle C. Okay, yan. So, indicating that your center here is at point C. Okay, now, the idea here is that, okay, so obviously, okay, so obviously here, segment WE is your diameter. Yan, diameter siya, okay? Yan. Now, the third theorem, yung pangatlong theorem, it tells you that if one chord is perpendicular, yan yung symbol natin sa perpendicularity, yung palitan ng letter T, is perpendicular to a diameter, yan. So, it means that it forms a right angle. Yan ang ibig sabihin yan. We can conclude that right now that the two segments here would be congruent. So, we have PO, is congruent to IO. So, meaning this diameter here bisects this chord. So, ibig sabihin, hinati niya sa dalawa. Pantay ito, pantay ito. So, pantay yung measurement ng dalawang chords na yan. Okay? And also, the arc ito would be also congruent to this arc. So, ibig sabihin, pantay ito, pantay din ito. So, ibig sabihin, paano yan? If this would measure 45 degrees, this would also measure 45 degrees. Yun ang ibig sabihin yan. If this would measure 8, this would also measure 8. So, pantay yan mula dito, hanggang dito. So, yan yung idea dyan. So, basically, ito muna yung tatlong theorems that we shall have. Okay? So, later, meron pa tayo, and then I will give you some examples. Okay? Yan. Now, let's have some examples here. Let me just erase this circle here. Parahin lang natin. Okay? Let's have some examples. Tapos, ba? Okay, and then let's just name the points as point J. Ito ay si J. Ito ay si O. Ito ay si S. Ito ay si N. Ito ay si I. And then we have, okay, let's just name the circle as circle S, indicating that your center is at point S. Yan. So we have, so meaning, ON here, segment ON here, and segment JI are diameters of this particular circle. Take note na diameter. Now, so since those two are diameters, they have the same measurement. And they bisect each other. So, yun ang idea doon. Kasi lalabas, it forms a rectangle. Now, let me just give you an example here. Example lang ha. Okay. If the measurement of angle JSN is equal to 113 degrees. So, let's find the measurement of this particular angle. So, let's have angle ISO Hanapin natin letter B is angle NSI. Lastly, the measurement of angle JSO. Now, ako usually pag naghahanap ako ng measurements ng angle sa isang figure, hindi ko siya sinasagutan ng utay-itay-itay na isa-isa. Ang ginagawa ko, sasagutan ko lahat. Okay, so gawin natin ito Okay. At saka minsan, at yung hindi hinahanap, hahanapin ko rin. Yan, para for the sake of correcting or for the sake of checking if you have obtained the correct answer. Okay, umpisa muna natin, JSN. Okay, so hanapin natin. So, JSN. So, we're pertaining to the central angle here. O, lipat lang natin si S dito. Okay? Yan. So, lipat na lang natin siguro si S somewhere here. Okay, this is point S. So, this would measure 113 degrees. Okay, so we will be looking now for the measurement of the other angles here. Okay, so kahit hindi hinahanap, hanapin natin. Now, 113, it is vertical to this one. So, this would also be congruent. O kahit yung mga arcs, ano yun na natin. So, this would be 113 also. This would be 113 also. Yan, yun yung arcsent. Although wala sa problem. Now, so this is a semicircle. So, meaning, these two are linear pairs. They are supplementary. So, 180 ang total nung dalawang yan. So, 180 minus 13, this would be 67 degrees. This would be 67 degrees. This would also be 67 degrees. This would also be 67 degrees. Yan. Now, i-total natin nga kung tama siya. So, 180 to. 180 plus 180 is 360. So, tama yung nakuha natin. Saka ko sasagutan yun isa-isa. Okay? Yan. Advice ko sa inyo, kapag nagsasagot kayo ng mga nagsasagot kayo ng figure na nanghihingi ng measurement ni ganito, ni ganyan sa angle, ang pinaka-advice ko, sagutan nyo muna yung buong figure. Saka nyo sagutan siya doon sa tanong. Huwag yung isa-isa na utay-utay sa kanyang sasagutan dito. May mahihirapan kayo. At least, pag ganito nyo siya sinagutan, may reference na lang kayo. Okay, let's start with letter A. The measurement of angle ISO. ISO. So, may sagot ka na agad, which is 113 degrees. Tapos, okay. So, let's have the measurement of angle NSI. NSI. Ayun, sa pool natin. This is 67 degrees. And then lastly, we have the measurement of angle JSO. JSO, which is also equal to 67. Tapos na. And then, kung may hahanapin pang ibang measurements, for example lang, tatlo lang binigay ko, yung measurement ng central angle, makukuha agad natin yan. Okay? Yan. Okay. So, let's have another example here. So, madali lang to. Ito, medyo warm up lang itong example na to. Let's have another one. Point M, sabihin na lang natin. This is point K. This is point L. Kita ba sa screen? Kita pa naman. Yan, hindi nag-autofocus. Buti naman. This is point A, yung nasa taas. This is point P. And this is point S. Ayan. And then, i-declare natin na ito ay parallel. Ito rin ay parallel. Yan. Okay, so we have two parallel angles here as declared in your figure. As declared in the figure. Okay? And then, dagdagan natin ng ipapakita, given. Okay. Let's have this given measurements. Okay. Let's just say that BD here measures 3 units. Ibig sabihin, si BD, ito. Ang measurement ito ay 3. KM measures 6. And KP measures 2 times the square root of 7. Ayan. Okay, doon sa module ninyo, ang nakasulat dyan, 27, ha? Hindi, 2 square root of 7 yan. Kasi doon sa figure, 2 square root of 7 ang nakasulat. So, i-label muna natin ito, okay? So, i-label muna natin isa-isa, okay? So, subukan muna natin dito. So, si AM, okay, so si BD pala, sorry. So, tapos, ano muna natin? Find, sulat na muna natin lahat ng mga example. Okay, number 1 is AM. Number 2 is KL. Number 3, dito na lang ko siya baba isulat. MD. And number 4, let's have CD. Yan. Okay. So, umpisahan muna natin dito, okay? So, BD, okay. So, BD, hanapin natin si BD, this one. So, BD is equal to 3. Yan. Itong to. KM is equal to 6. Yan. And we have KP, which is equal to 2 times the square root of 7. So, ito yon si KP. 2 square root of 7. So, let's first find the measurement of AM. Yan, si AM muna. Okay? Now, ang idea natin dito, since these are perpendicular to each other, okay, so meaning, KP and KA are congruent. So, meaning, we can say right now that this would also measures, that segment KA or AK would also measure 2 square root of 7. So, pantay silang dalawa dito. The problem is, eto. Yan, itong ano na to, si AM. So, in this particular case, you have here a right triangle by which the AM here or segment AM is your hypotenuse and KM and AK are legs of this triangle. So, sasagutan natin siya by Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So, by Pythagorean theorem, so we will assume, okay, so yanin natin, ito yung nawawala, di ba? Yung isang part na to. Okay? So, to find AM, okay, which is your hypotenuse siya ha, hypotenuse. So, gagawin natin 6 squared plus 2 square root of 7 quantity squared. Yan, yung pagkuha ng squared nga pala rin dapat yan. Okay, AM squared is equal to kompletuhin na lang muna natin yung formula. AM squared is equal to KM squared plus KA squared. So, i-squared natin yung mga ano na yan. So, eto, kukunin mo siya by Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So, i-Pythagorean natin to. So, this would be 6 squared plus 2 times the square root of 7 quantity squared. So, 6 squared, okay, so 6 squared obviously is 36. Plus, okay, so 2 times square root of 7, that is 4. Okay, so that is 4. Ito ay 4 times 7. Okay, 4 times 7 is 28. Yan. Kung tama ako, yes, it's 28. And then, 28, pwede itong kunin sa calculator na lang kung medyo di kayo nahihirapan kayo. So, actually, this is 4 times 7 kasi makakancel. So, i-distribute mo kasi yung square. So, 2 squared is 4. Square root of 7 squared, syempre, makakancel yung square root symbol. So, 7 na lang siya. So, 4 times 7 is 28. Yun, doon mo nakuha yan. So, AM squared is equal now to, so adding those, so we have 64. Yan. And then squared pa siya, square root. So obviously, we know that the square root of 64 is 8. So AM is equal to 8. So yun yung sagot natin. So this is 8. Yan. Okay. So yan. So this would be 8. Yan. Now, since the idea, okay, so meaning, okay, so AM dito, 8 na siya. So meaning, MP here would also measures 8. Okay? Yan yung idea. Okay, yan. Okay? Now, let's have now KL here. Yan. Segment KL. Now, this small portion here. Ay, mula dito hanggang dito. Now, take note that we have obtained already the measurement of all your radii, which is equal to 8. So, this is 8. This is 8. BN here, from this segment, from this point, to this point, yan. This would also measures 8. And this would also measures 8. Itong yan. Yung ml na to, this would also measure 8. 8 din siya. So meaning, to obtain this small portion, you will simply deduct 6 from 8. So the answer is 2. So 2 na ito. O, di ba? Ang dali. And to get the measure of MD here, which is a small portion of this radius, this is 3 already. So 8 minus 3 is 5. So the measurement of MD is equal to 5. Yan. Eto ngayon. Okay, let's have now CD here. Eto. Yan. Let's have the measurement of this CD here. Ito yung magiging problema natin. Paano mo kukunin to, yung CD? Eh, wala nang ibang ano dito. Wala ka ibang measurement sa na pagkukunan. Okay. Now, to obtain this, ang gagawin natin, we will draw an imaginary segment here. From C, going to your center, which is M. Okay? Ito. Now, we all know that when we draw a segment from your radius to one point of your circle, this is considered as a radius also. So, we can say that this would also measures 8. So, 8 na rin ito. So, lalabas, right triangle siya. Kaya lang this time, ang hinahanap yung isa sa mga legs. Yan. Okay? So, nakuha yung idea ha. So, the formula right now in getting, okay, yan, imaginary yan. So, the formula right now in getting the measurement of CD, dito ko na lang sa loob isusulat, CD squared this time, yan, is equal now to, uunahin ko muna yung hypotenuse, cm squared. Okay, instead of adding, dahil nga ang hinahanap natin is one of the legs, sasubtract natin siya doon sa isa pang leg, minus dm squared din. Yan. And then, proceed tayo sa formula. So, that would be 8 squared minus 5 squared. So, 8 squared would be equal to 64. And 5 squared would be 25. Okay. So, 64 minus 25, if I'm not mistaken, o medyo, ano na to? Is 39. Tama ba ako? Yan. Kasi magki-carry 1, 5, o yun. So, 39. Now, yan. Square root. Since we cannot simplify this, yung square root of 39, okay, we cannot express this as a whole number. We cannot also express it, simplify it rather. So, ayan na yung final answer. Square root of 39. So, CD here measures square root of 39. Now, if you're also asked for the measurement of DS, this would also measures 39. Square root of 39 rather. So, this is square root of 39. So, ganun siya. Yan. Medyo komplikado itong example na to. Okay? Yan.